Hello my friends, my name is Lindsey and I run the blog Books for Christian Girls, and welcome back to the little corner of the internet where I talk mainly about Christian fiction. Can y'all hear me okay? I feel like I am so far away from y'all and the microphone because there's a bunch of books in front of me, and that is because this is a book haul of every book I've bought so far this year. Full disclaimer, it is June 25th. My birthday has passed. Thank you all so much for the birthday wishes. I had a lovely calm day and I received some books. I bought books and I have a lot of books here, okay y'all? This is about 100 books. I decided at the beginning of the year I was going to keep track of all the books I bought or was gifted or just received, got added to the TBR shelf. Now why I wanted to do a dumb thing like that, I don't know, but I did. And I've been keeping track of which ones did I buy because I've already read it and enjoyed it, either from the library or Kindle Unlimited, whatever. And then ones I read after I bought them, and then ones that were pre-ordered, which ones were gifted, and then which ones I unhauled. There's not many I've unhauled yet, my dear friends, which that's not too bad. This is about 100 books. I've counted 3 times and I get a different answer every time, so we're just going to say about 100 books. We're just going to say that. It's insane. It's insane. But it's less insane, look at me trying to justify this, that I have read a good amount of them. I had about 35 or something I read before I bought them, and then I bought them because I needed a copy on my shelves. Obviously it was a need, not a want. It's a problem, is what it is. But I had 35 that I've already read and I wanted to have for my shelves, because look, empty shelves. If you are new to this channel, there's books up above. You can just barely see them. But I have a lot of room to grow. I just redid my bookshelves and it's lovely. But the problem with having empty shelves makes me want to buy books. I should be working on my physical TBR. That was my hope, right? Right when I did that whole bookshelf makeover and it was glorious, I was like, and now I want to read books off my physical TBR. That lasted a month. Now I have the problem that I just want to buy all the books. It's not a good problem to have, my dear friends, but it is my problem. So I have about 10 I've already read since after buying them. And then I've got gifted ones. I have ones on pre-order I'll mention, but they obviously aren't here. Most of them haven't come out yet. And then what else do I need to tell y'all prior? I'll tell you which ones I bought this year, but then I've already unhauled. It hasn't been many. I haven't read all these, as we're going to find out. I'm thinking maybe we'll stack the ones I haven't read here and the ones I have read that I'm keeping on my shelf. We'll just put them here for now. Because my next video is my 200th video. And tentatively, it's going to be a very big deal video, right? Tentatively. That is the goal. That is the hope. It's going to require a lot of work. You probably already can figure out what it is just by me saying it's a lot of work. I'm going to try. But before I film that video, I want to organize my bookshelf with these new books. So we're going to do that. So I kind of want to have these separated for easier access for that. But that's going to be another video. You'll see that in a couple weeks out. But let's get started. I haven't read all of these. This is a mix of Christian fiction, clean fiction, and then what else can I say? Christian fiction, clean fiction, and then many genres within there. I have been on a clean historical fiction kick, so you're going to see a bunch of those, particularly Regency ones. We'll talk about it, but you're also going to see a lot of fairy tale retellings. I've been on a kick of those as well. And honestly, not a lot of these are from big publishers. And that's actually going to segue into my next question that I get asked often, and particularly have been asked really often lately. In the last month I've been asked multiple times, and I think that's so funny that y'all are on the same wavelength. But maybe it's because I mentioned that there's a book haul coming. Maybe that's why. But it's, where do I buy my books? And so I personally really prefer to use Alibris, which not too many people have heard about them, but they have used books, but I typically use the new book feature on them because they're usually cheaper than Amazon. And then they'll have a sale coupon code typically always going. And so let's see, if a hardback is $24.99, $25 on Amazon, they typically have it for $19. And so I think that's a pretty good savings, personally, especially with how many books I've bought. I'm trying to justify my reasoning here, okay, my dear friends? And so I use them a lot. They also have coupon codes, like if you spend $140 or $135, you get $20 off your order. And so I typically wait till I have a bunch of books I know I liked, or I know I'm going to like, or I'm really highly hopeful that I'm going to like, and I'll do a big order with them. And I don't do that often. Now, mind you, when it's my birthdays approaching, I don't follow that very well. I go, it's my birthday gift to myself. I need to quit saying that because my bank account hates me. So there is that. So I buy from Alibris. I do Amazon if I can't get the book elsewhere, like if it's a brand new indie print book or smaller publisher that uses Amazon for their printing, I'll buy it from there. But then I also really like Baker Bookhouse. And Baker Bookhouse is owned by Baker, and Baker is the owner, I guess you could say the parent family of Bethany House and Revell. And so when I want a new released Christian fiction book or just a Christian fiction book, I will typically buy it from there because they do a lot of the big publishers for Christian fiction. So like Bethany House and Revell, and they're typically way better than Amazon's prices. The pre-orders seem to be the best pricing that I've noticed. But then they also do like Barbed Wire and Zondervan, Thomas Nelson. My mind's going blank. Waterbrook, Multnomah. Are those the main ones? Oh, Kregel. Kregel? Is that how we say that one? I'm not sure if that's how we pronounce that name. Tyndale, all of those, They do all the main publishing houses. They don't do Enclave Publishing yet, but I'm hoping that maybe one day they will because that would be nice. And that's typically, I get my Enclave books from Alibris because they are on the cheaper side. I've got to be honest, I don't know how Alibris does their books cheaper than Amazon. I don't know. And like, especially from like the author royalty side, I have no idea how that works. I've just learned to prefer Alibris for the deals. And then for used books, I typically do... I used to always do thrift books, but I have had really disappointing quality with their last few books, and they're just not as great quality as they say they're going to be, or what I prefer, because y'all know I treat my books very preciously. I like my books in good condition. So I haven't been buying from them as much, but I used to buy quite a bit from them. But my current one I buy quite a bit from is PangoBooks, which is an app. I actually have a store on Pango if you'd like to check it out. I'm pretty sure Pango is USA only though. I will link it down below. And then there is also a Facebook group for Christian fiction that I bought a lot of these books. Well, a good amount, a good chunk from there as well. So now I think that is all my disclaimers. Actually, I take that back. There's one more disclaimer. I haven't read all these books. Obviously, I wish one day I could do a book haul and it's like, look at all these books I've already read. That's never going to happen. Unless I do really good at only buying books I've already read. I don't have high hopes on that. Let's be honest here. So I haven't read all these. I don't know the content in all of these. I will tell y'all which ones I have read, what I enjoyed. I probably won't be able to link reviews to all of the ones I've read. Because again, I have like 45 books here out of this 100, roughly, probably a little over 100 books that I've read, which I'm actually pretty happy with that, personally. Like, overall, that's not bad. I was calculating things last night, and I was like, hey, you're doing pretty good, Lindsey. Not bad. Quit buying books, but you're doing not bad. I can't link them all, though, down in the description. Unfortunately, that's just, there's not enough space, and my bit.ly link thing isn't working for me lately, which is just frustrating. So I'm going to see if I can link the recent reads where I discuss the different books, and then y'all can check out there and hear my thoughts, and that video will have the links to the reviews. But elsewise, I haven't read a good half of these books. I haven't read a little over half of these books. I don't know the content. This is not me recommending them. I always have to do that disclaimer because I prefer to only talk about books I recommend. But book hauls are really fun to do, and I haven't read them all, so just go in there knowing that, hey, eventually, I will be reading these and I'll have content notes on them. But right now, I don't know about all of these. So if you know if one of these books is like, ooh, Lindsey, yeah, that has content you're not going to like, please let me know. Please let me know. So I can be aware and maybe decide not to read the book, and that gets a book off my TBR, and I will be forever thankful for you for doing that. But then also, if there's any books in here going, Lindsey, you have to read that. It was so good. Let me know that too. You can leave multiple comments. That's totally okay with me. Now we can get started. So sorry for all the disclaimers. Now we are starting with The first books I bought. Okay, my friends, we need to just real quick. This is what my floor looks like. There's Daisy. She came in earlier. I did this last night. And then she came in here this morning and just kind of looked around. And then looked up at me like, what is this on my floor? Because this is typically where she lays. So she was not a happy camper with me this morning. But we have a lot of books. It doesn't really look like 100 books though, does it? I mean, I've got markers where I'm going to discuss pre-order books and ones I've unhauled. But I don't feel like it looks like 100 books. But I've gotten really bad at that like jelly bean guessing jar game. I used to be really good at that as a kid, but not anymore. So let's begin. The first few are ones I have read. To start us off, A Thieving Curse by Selena R. Gonzalez and The Dragon Prince's Heart by Selena R. Gonzalez. This is a clean fantasy series that has been really interesting. This is book 1 in the book 1.5. This book is completely told from our main girl's perspective, and then this little novella is from the Dragon Prince's perspective for the first little bit of this book, and I really thought that was great to see because I really wished we would have seen his point of view in this book. But this is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, but instead of, Daisy says hello. She hasn't barked in a video in a while. But instead of there being, goat, but instead of there being like a beast, so to speak, he is been cursed to be a dragon. And at first I wasn't sure what in the world I was getting into with this book because I was just like, this is weird. He's got a tail and wings and red eyes and all that. But I actually got really sucked into it and I really enjoyed it. I was very stunned. I was very stunned. I felt all the emotions with this. So if you like clean fantasy, you could check it out. I think there's one use of the D word for like language, but elsewise it's very much on the clean side. So I'm looking forward to continuing the rest of the series. So these are keeping, should we just stick them there? Or should I go lower? I'm going to have to angle it. We'll just put it there for now. Another book I bought and had already read, so I bought it, and that would be The Highlander's Victory by Michaela Bush. This is book 3 in the Legends of Lenaria series. This has been a very neat series. I don't really have too much to say about this one besides I enjoyed it. Yeah, we're just going to go on because we have a lot to talk about today. So the next book is Secrets Beneath by Kimberly Woodhouse. Gorgeous cover. I bought this book, but I've decided to unhaul it because I didn't enjoy it, which was really disappointing. There was different reasons, and I talked about it in my recent reads. A lot of the things I want to talk about, though, are spoilers. And so some people may really like this, but for me, it was a major miss, unfortunately, mainly because we see the point of view of this person that has had an incredibly horrible childhood, and that has just affected his mind a lot, and it was just so hard to read about. It was really kind of disturbing in different ways of what happens and how he's treated and that kind of thing. So I was really disappointed with this one. So I've unhauled it. It's in my Pango store. I'm not going to put it there because I'm not keeping it. I don't really want to put it here because I'm not keeping it. We'll just toss it off to the side. Ignore that one. Another book I've read, look at us, 4 out of 4 right here off the bat, and that is Double Take by Lynette Easton. I had already read this one and I wanted my own copy. This is the start of a new suspense series by Lynette Easton. This is great if you want a suspense book that's not super creepy or serial killer creepy, because I know there's a lot of those who want to read suspense books but don't want that serial killer. Am I too far away from y'all? I feel like I'm yelling. Is this okay? This is kind of awkward too. I don't know. But if you want a suspense book that's not got that creepy vibe, you can go for it. Our main girl, what was her name? Lainey is a PA, and so she works in the medical field. And she survived a murder attempt from her fiance, and she believes that she killed him. But now she is seeing him following her again. So you've got that kind of creepy stalker vibe, but it's, and like what in the world is happening, what's going on, how he's supposed to be dead kind of thing. But it's not creepy in the serial killer chasing after the main girl kind of way, which is what a lot of Christian suspense books are. One book I haven't read yet is Bridge of Gold by Kimberly Woodhouse. This is the Doors to the Past series. And then I also did another Doors of the Past book, and that is High Wire Heartbreak by Anna Smidget, maybe is how you pronounce the author's last name. I'm not quite sure. But these are dual time period books. I don't really know too much about them other than that. This one is partially set in the 1933 and then 1930s as well. Oh, okay. Don't really know much about them. I attempted to read one book of the series, but I didn't enjoy it, and this is one of those not connected series. Like, the theme of the series is they all have in common, but they're by different authors, and there's no connecting characters. So I like those because you can kind of view them as standalones, but I haven't read these yet. So if you've read them, let me know. We're going to start our stack off there. There we go. Okay. A book I have read. This was a gift from the publisher, and I ended up really enjoying it. And that is The Divine Proverb of Streusel by Sara Brunsvold. This is the author that wrote The Extraordinary Deaths of Mrs. Kipp, which I'm sure many of y'all know. I enjoyed this one. Not as much as Mrs. Kipp's book, but I did still enjoy this one. And it was very sweet, so I've kept this one. One of my pre-order books that has already come out and I've read it was With Each Tomorrow by Tracy Peterson and Kimberly Woodhouse. Man, I've got quite a few Kimberly Woodhouse books already in this video. That's so funny. This is book 2 in a historical series. I didn't love this one as much as the first book, but I did still really like the faith content and just the historical setting. The cover is stunning. Isn't it though? It's stunning. I will be keeping this one, so we'll put it up here. Okay, we have my first little divider, so let's check my notes on what I need to talk about. Oh, so pre-orders. I have Tracking Tilly by Miss Janice Thompson. That is releasing in August. So I wasn't sure if I should count pre-orders that haven't come out yet, because this is like the halfway point of the year almost, so I thought I would do this video now. I don't know if I'll do a part 2 for the end of the year. Maybe. I'm not sure, but I mean, I placed the order back in, this was probably February, but I don't have the book yet because it hasn't released yet, and technically the Baker Bookhouse, who I pre-order my Christian fiction books through, they haven't taken their money yet because they don't take their money till they ship, so I don't know if those really should be counted in this video because I don't physically have them, but in my brain, I've bought them. I've calculated that money in my account is for when that happens kind of thing. So I'm counting them, but I don't know if they should be counted. Let me know y'all's thoughts. But Tracking Tilly by Janice Thompson, I am so excited about this book. I have an advanced reader copy of it, and I am just antsy to read it. Like, I'm going to read it soon, so we're going to remove my divider. And then my next book is one I have mentioned in my anticipated releases. I don't think it was last year. Was it last year? Was it 23? 23 was a crazy year. It was 23. And that is Southpaw by Tabby R.H. This, oh, how is it described? It's a clean fiction I don't think it's a thriller. Is it a thriller? I don't know. The back cover says a suspicious death in an affluent family business unearths a network of secrets, lies, and buried history. Right there you have me sold. But then it says, caught up in all of it against their wills are 4 individuals, a salesman, an artist, an IT manager, and a house cleaner. As the secrets deepen and they become targets, this unlikely foursome must come together to unravel it all. They each hold pieces of the sinister puzzle, and the body count will continue to climb unless they can overcome their insecurities and band together. If they want to stay alive, they will have to face their fears and find the heart of thunder. And book 2 is currently in the works, and I think that is the title of book 2. I have this one on Kindle, and I've been so intrigued by it and wanting to read it, and I decided to I had a gift card on Amazon, so I went ahead and bought it just because I was like, hey, you know, I am more likely to read books when they're on my physical TBR, mostly, typically. That's typically what works for me. So I bought it, and I haven't gotten to it yet. It's kind of a thick book, so it's kind of intimidating. It's about 400 pages. Which, I like thick books, but at the same time, I've got to be, like, in the mood to commit myself for that many pages. But I do have really high hopes for this one. The author is a sweetheart. I really enjoy following her on social media and her faith posts. So I hope I like it. I hope I like it. I just need to get to it. Let me know if y'all have read this. Doesn't that back cover just sound so interesting? Doesn't it just intrigue you? It intrigues me. It's giving, like, Clue vibes almost. Or, I mean, some might say Agatha Christie. I've only attempted to read one Agatha Christie. So, I don't know, but it's intriguing. Yes, yes. I haven't read it, though, so it goes there. Unfortunately, our next bit is going to be other books I haven't read. So, Heart of the Sea by Mariah Chavez. This is a clean, I believe, fantasy book. And it has to do with pirates and water. I keep thinking I'm going to read this one here in July. Because, I don't know, it feels July-ish to me. The water, maybe. So, I think I'm going to be... Oh, there's a map. I knew this. I knew this, right? That there was a map. Look how cool. That's nice. I like a good map. I like a command. I have attempted to start this book multiple times, but I just haven't been in the mood for it yet. So once I'm in the mood for it, hopefully coming up soon, I'm going to read this one. I'm going to make a separate stack of ones I hope to read within the next couple months. That's what we're going to do. So there's that stack. I'm kind of covering up our stacks. You know, let's put it here then. Can y'all? Nope, y'all can't see that. I've never filmed with this setup down here on the floor, so forgive all the kinks in this video because we're working them out. We're working out all of the monkey wrenches and whatnot. It took me a while to figure out the angle. So, other books I haven't read yet would be Misleading Miss Verity by Carolyn Miller. I had read a couple of her Regency books a few years ago, and I liked one. The other one I didn't love. But I've heard good things about this trilogy, and I have randomly owned book 2 for a long time. And so I finally got my hands on, this is book 3 in the series, the trilogy, and then later I'm going to show y'all book 1. So I'm hoping I like them though, because the spines are one color, and as someone, well, you can't tell, but if you've been on my channel before, I have my books organized in a rainbow order, so when spines are one color, that makes me way more excited to read them because I don't have to think about, oh, where is it going to go? This is purple. It's going to go with the purple. However, I've not been having good luck with that, it feels like. So hopefully I'll have better luck with these. Let me know if you've read these. I meant to read that series in the spring because Regency feels like spring to me, and with the covers and the spines being like they're blue, pink, and purple, that feels so springy, so I should have already read it by now. But I'm always in the mood for Regency, so I'll read it at some point. Okay, this is a series I really don't know anything about, and that is The Mystery... What is this series titled? It's by Catherine Woodfine. And it's... Okay, no, the... What's the series title, my dear friends? It's a series, but they don't have a series name, maybe. It's Mystery of the Clockwork Sparrow, Mystery of the Jeweled Moth, Mystery of the Painted Dragon, and Mystery of the Midnight Peacock. And I have heard they are clean. The 4th book has a couple minor things, but they are supposed to be middle grade mysteries. I don't know if they have to do with murder. So wait, which one was book 1? I totally messed that up. Clockwork Sparrow. You are cordially invited to attend the grand opening of Sinclair's department store. Enter a world of bonbons, hats, perfumes, and mysteries around every corner. Wonder at the daring theft of the priceless Clockwork Sparrow. My goodness, Lindsey. Tremble as the most dastardly villains in London enact their wicked plans. Grasp our bold heroines, Miss Sophie Taylor and Miss Lillian Rose. Break codes, devour ice buns. What's an ice bun? And vow to bring villains to justice. A splendid adventure awaits you. I heard they are great for fans of... Oh, the name just went on my brain. The Myrtle Hardcastle series. And I've read 2 of those books, and I've enjoyed them so far. I liked the first book the best. The second one had God's name taken into vain way too much. Especially for a middle grade book, but... I've heard they're good for fans of that, and that they're pretty clean. So at one point I'm going to read them. My library didn't have them at all, and I was very stunned about that because they're not old, but they're not new. First published in 2015. So they're not old, they're not new. I'm not sure why my library didn't have them, but I saw them as a bundle on Pango for a reasonable price, and so I went, okay, I'll buy you. Because sometimes I'm just in the mood for a middle grade book, you know? Sometimes you're just in the mood. And I really have been liking the mystery elements ones with that, so we'll see. I'm justifying again, but we'll see. At one point I'll get to these. I have my note, and my note is, Fatal Witness by Patricia Bradley. The publisher sent this one to me, and I liked it, but I decided not to keep it, so I've passed that one along already. One book I read prior to buying it, and then I had to buy it because I really enjoyed it, was Never Fall Again by Lynn H. Blackburn. This was different. I have read another series by this author, another trilogy, and I liked it, but there were certain things I was just like, I don't love that element. I don't care for this comment. But this one I really enjoyed. I think I gave it a 4-star rating, and I was very pleasantly surprised because it was way less suspense, much more on the romantic side, very cute, not heavy suspense. You just have like some sprinkled here, there, and towards the end. It was pleasant. I enjoyed it. I decided to keep it. Looking forward to book 2, which I think is releasing early next year. I don't think it's coming out this year. I have another note. These are Instagram props that I just keep at the bottom of my bookshelf that y'all can't see, so I stole them for this video. So let's see. My note is that I have 2 other pre-orders. The first one will be A Token of Love by Carrie Taransky. That one releases in September. That is a dual time period historical novel. And then I also have pre-ordered Tea with Elephants by Robin Jones Gunn, which is releasing in October. And yes, I have both of those pre-ordered with Baker Bookhouse. I talked about both of them in my anticipated releases video, so yeah, looking forward to those. My next book was The Elusive Truth of Lily Temple by Joanna Davidson Politano. This was a gift from the publisher for a review, and I ended up really enjoying this one. It is very Joanna Davidson Politano's style, with that historical mystery, kind of Gilded Age. This one had to do with a silent film actress, and for some reason I really have enjoyed finding out about that industry, especially with this book. I recently found out, though, based off of a reel that the author did, is that she's one of the people that reads the ending first. Like, she'll read some of the book and like get interested, and then she'll read the ending, and that just makes so much sense for me based off of her books. Because I don't do that. I don't like skipping to the end unless I just am not liking the book. I want to just follow the plot as it goes. But my sweet book friend at my church that I've discussed with y'all before, she's so sweet. I love her. Look at her text she sent me for my birthday. So that's just so cute. I love her. She's so sweet. But she read this one and she goes, I had to read the ending first. And I was like, okay, honestly, it makes sense, because this book can be very confusing at first, and I think that's a downfall for a lot of readers. I ended up enjoying it because I really like when I'm trying to figure something else, figure out what's happening in the plot and figure out what's going on in a historical setting. I'm not very good at that with a fantasy setting, but I did enjoy this book quite a bit. Problem with this book, though, where am I supposed to put it in my colors? I'm going to struggle with that. I'm going to be struggling with that. Alright, we've got the next batch of books I haven't read yet, unfortunately. And so all of these were Pango, I think, that I bought from different sellers. And so one of them was Love and Other Great Expectations by Becky Dean. This is supposed to be a clean, contemporary YA book. I have heard really good things about this book and the author's other books. I haven't read them yet. I keep requesting them at my library, and then I just haven't read them because I don't have time. I have to be very particular with my time and what I'm reading and that kind of thing. So at one point I want to read them, but I have heard they're very cute. I hope I really enjoy it. This is about a girl who goes to London, and it just sounds so cute. The cover is adorable. I hope I like it. I hope I like it. I'm really particular on my clean / secular contemporary YA because there's always questionable content, but I've heard this is clean, but I don't know if it's as squeaky as I prefer, so I don't know. We're just going to see. At some point I'll read this. A Proper Charade by Esther Hatch. I have read a few books by this author, and I really enjoyed the first one I read by her, but the other ones have been a little kissy for my taste, so I don't know where this book is going to fall. But I believe this is another clean Regency. Ooh. Flowers. I have another series that is like that, but they're not from the same publishing house. So I'm just curious about this one. I don't know really anything about it. I just like Regency books, okay? I've decided clean Regency kind of a thing I really like right now. I'm currently reading, well, I just finished a clean Victorian series, and I really liked that one. We'll discuss that towards the end of this video because those are down there. This wall of books is crazy, my dear friends. This is so many books. But I haven't read this one yet. I believe this is in a series, but I don't know what number, what order, or anything. It was just, my thing is on PangoBooks. Okay, here I am justifying again. That if I see one book and I'm like, oh, that's reasonably priced, I'll add it to my cart. And then I see if the seller has anything else that's caught my eye. And that was the case with these two. I was like, oh, I'm curious about this book and the Becky Dean one. So I just went ahead and got them both because they were reasonable. And when you sell on Pango, are you going to fall? When you sell on Pango, you can take what you've earned and either transfer it to your bank account, or you can turn around and spend that money on books on the app. I think it's obvious which option I picked. So, another book I picked up on Pango was Driving Force by Lynette Eason. Well, it's not actually by Lynette Eason. It's presented by Lynette Eason, but it's written by Kate Angelo. I think is how this series is working. I've seen these going around on Kindle Unlimited, and so I was very intrigued. It's a female bodyguard agency. I personally, I like them both ways, but typically I like it when the guy's the bodyguard. But I did read another series by Lena Easton. I think it was the Elite Guardians series, and I liked different elements of that series, so I thought I would give this one a try. It is much thicker than I was expecting, but I believe the whole series is on Kindle Unlimited, so I'll have to check it out at some point. I feel like we're getting precarious already over here. Another book I picked up. Now, this one, out of all of these, out of all 100 books, I feel like I am really likely to read all of them. There may be a handful that I may go, no, later down the road, I don't decide I don't want to read it and I just unhaul it. But I feel like currently, all of these look really good to me. There's a few that I'm not sure about, and this is one I'm not sure about, and that's The Killing Tide by Dani Petrie. Let me know if y'all have read this author. I know she's popular, but I've also heard very mixed thoughts and reviews on her books, particularly this one. I don't typically do waterish books. I don't really like bodies of water, that kind of thing. So a Coast Guard officer is found dead and another one goes missing. And so the main guy is the Coast Guard Investigative Special Service Agent. That is a mouthful. I'm sure that gets abbreviated in some way. And so, yeah, that gets involved. I don't know. Let me know if you've read this one. I'm not going to lie, this cover freaks me out. As someone who does not like swimming or water, this cover freaks me out. So this isn't like one of the very few in the stack that I'm like, am I really going to read it? I don't know. Let me know y'all's thoughts on this book, the author, the series. I haven't read any of her books. I attempted the Alaskan Courage series a long time ago, but I couldn't get into it. Again, I'm not really one for Alaska books either. So I think that was part of it. So I wanted to try something by that author, but I'm just not sure which one will be a great fit for me. So if you've read her books, let me know. Just let me know all your thoughts on that. We can discuss it in the comments, and I will appreciate any advice. That's nicely done. Another book I randomly picked off of Pango. Now, this is Heart of a Princess by Hannah Curry. I read book 1 and liked elements of it, and my library hasn't gotten these. I've asked them multiple times, but they haven't gotten them yet, and then they're not on Kindle Unlimited. They're from the Whitefire publishing company, White Crown, and their books are harder to get, and typically I have to buy those at full price. So I went ahead and grabbed this one when I saw that it was at a really, really cheap price on Pango. It's hardback though, and my first book isn't. So I don't know about that. This is actually though about a girl that was really annoying in the first book, so I'm not as excited to read it. Full disclaimer. I'll read it at some point, I'm sure, but I haven't read it yet, so. Okay, so we're going to move on into a few books I have read. Yay. And that first one would be Hey Jude Carpenter by Storm Stoltz. I read this one, really, really enjoyed it, so I had to have a copy for my own shelves, and I give it 4.5 stars. This is a Christian fiction, YA contemporary, cute story. One or two little things I was like, oh, okay, they're a little young to share a kiss and date and all that kind of things, but elsewise, I personally really enjoyed it. I would say probably ages 14, 15 up. But I really enjoyed it. I really am excited when I see new Christian fiction, contemporary YA books on the market, because that is what got me into the genre of Christian fiction oh so many years ago. So it was really cute though. This is definitely a keep. Okay, now both of these are keeps, but I've only read this one so far, and that is Drake Hall by Christina Bear and Castle of the Winds. This book released a couple months ago, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna buy it because I'm gonna read it. But I heard it ends on a cliffhanger. So I was like, oh, well, I have to wait until the next book comes out. So I have read this one, really enjoyed it. This is a cozy fantasy series. Wait, okay, I'll come back to my excitement real quick. But this is a cozy historical fantasy series, very clean, very fun, just so whimsical, but it has dragons and it's just lovely. But my excitement here is that the first book is free on Kindle until July 21st. I will do my very best to remember to put it in the description for y'all, but if I don't, it is on Amazon. I believe it's worldwide. And anyway, really have been enjoying this series, but that first book is free, and I've been talking about this series for a while, so you ought to check it out. You ought to check it out. I've really been enjoying it. We are adding more books to here. Even though I haven't read this one, I'm going to read this one very soon, and I want to keep it with the rest of the series. So, boop! on the shelf it goes. Okay, we can officially flip the page on my notes. So another little Pango purchase I did was Meant for Good by Deanna Julie Dodson. This is one of the books in the Savannah Secrets series by Guidepost. They're cozy mysteries. Haven't read this series yet. I haven't really been to any in-person bookstores. That is the thing. All of these were online purchases. Keep me out of a bookstore and I won't buy books, but you'd have to take away my internet for me not to actually buy books. So please don't ever take my internet away. But I haven't read this series. I'm interested in some of them, but they're hard to find Guidepost books, right? Like y'all, if you've been on the hunt for Guidepost mystery books, you probably know they can be kind of difficult to find. So I just kind of grab the ones that interest me when I can, and then I'll eventually read and review them. I prefer to read them in series order, but you don't have to typically. So yeah, haven't read the series yet. I don't even know what number this is in the books. I think it's early on in the series, yeah? Never mind, it is not early on in the series, 14. It is the 15th book in the series, so never mind. I don't know. You can jump in the middle of the series just fine though, so I think it'll be fine. I don't know if I'm ever going to find a Guidepost series that tops The Secrets of the Blue Hill Library. I really liked that series. That seller also just had Andy's Lonely Little Foal by Susan K. Marlowe. This is part of the Circle C series, which I read that... What series was it? There's multiple spin-offs and series of this series, of the Circle C series following Andy. And I read one of them when she was older, but I thought it would be good to start seeing if I can get my hands on this series to review on BFCG. So I just went ahead and picked it up. Okay, we have a note. Oh, yeah, okay. So I do have about 6 manhwas that I did buy during this year, but I'm not going to talk about them today because I'm not sure. Like, I bought them because I had read and enjoyed them a year or two ago, and they were finally released in English, and I was excited. But I don't know, like, I need to reread them and view them with the would I recommend them on my channel perspective. And I don't know yet. I'm looking now because they're up on the shelf, but I'm not sure yet. Y'all will probably see them in a future video, but I'm not sure yet. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on them, so I'm not discussing them in this video today. At one point, if I ever have enough books to talk about in a manga and manhwa recommendations video, I will. But at this point, I don't have enough. So, moving on into some books I haven't read but will be reading hopefully very soon. Trust the Stars by Tricia Goyer. This, I believe, is a dual time period one, but it has to do with princess and royalty. Wow, why does that font look tiny? Does this font look tiny to y'all? Where's another book? Let me see another book. I'm like... Okay, I'm losing my mind. That's great. It does look slightly smaller, but the book I picked up is A Lady's Guide to Marvels and Misadventures. And their font, this isn't the normal book font. I like it. I like it. But that's not the normal book font. Y'all see? That's not... See, you can tell I read this as an ebook because I'm really confused over here. I really like this font, but I don't know about it for a book. Interesting. Okay, wait, let me find another book. I'm really confused now. Is this the normal font? This doesn't... This looks different. No, it's slightly different. Oh, what is this font? I know this font. I used to be a font snob in a high school. I kind of still am. But, like, I used to know their names a lot better. I'm losing my mind. That's fine. That's fine. I need no help with that. Okay, anyway. Just the Stars by Tricia Goyer. We're so sorry for that bunny trail. I don't really know too much about this one. I bought this one on Alibris because I was very curious. This is a tiny font. I don't love that, but I am going to read this at some point. It's a princessy story, and the main girl is a YouTuber or a vlogger, a podcast person, and she's never shared her face, and she has been documenting doing her mom's bucket list, I think it was, or something like that. And on the last one, she's going to reveal her face. And meanwhile, one of her fans is this prince from another country. And I was just like, oh, wow. That sounds adorable. So, gonna read this one pretty soon. I think that one's going to happen here reasonably close. Another book I hope to read soon will be Protector by Megan Scalise. I'm not sure how to pronounce the author's last name. This is a Christian retelling of Esther in a dystopian setting. I don't need to know anymore. I'm reading this one soon. I was hoping I would already read this one in, what month are we in? June. I was hoping to read it already in June, but I haven't yet. I got distracted by another series, which we will be talking about here down the road. Another book I already read and wanted to have my own copy of was A Lady's Guide to Marvels and Misadventures by Angela Bell. This is a historical book, has steampunk elements, so much fun. I just did a post on Instagram about this book, actually. Look at my picture. Do you love it? I bought a pocket watch just for this book. I love my pocket watch. I think it's so cute. Here it is. It's beautiful. It's got like a mother of pearl backing inside. It's beautiful. So I was really excited to take that picture with that pocket watch. Just a little side note right there. I enjoyed this one though. I did think it was really fun. I will link my Instagram post down below where I talk more about it, but it was really fun. Another book I am going to be reading hopefully soon is Chromatic. Why am I struggling? Always struggling with titles and names. Who are we kidding? Chromatic. I can't think how to say this name. Am I saying it right? Vivid, Radiant, I'm losing my mind, my dear friends. I'm so sorry. By Ashley Bustamante. This is book 3 and the final book in a series about color magic, and it's been really fun. This is a buddy read and will be coming up probably very soon. So I'm going to put that over here because it'll be coming soon eventually. Another book I read and wanted to get my own copy of was A Lonely Dance by Selena R. Gonzalez, a thieving curse that's up there. This is book 2 in that series. This is about one of the villains in that one, and I was so suspicious. I was like, I don't want to read this one, but it's a 12 dancing It's a 12 dancing princesses retelling. My tongue, I'm already tied and we're only halfway through. This isn't good at all. But I really wanted to read that story because I really like a 12 Dancing Princesses, the Barbie version, that is. Okay, you know, I got a side note real quick. Hang on. For my birthday, I was able to get my dad to watch a Barbie movie with me. Not the Barbie movie with the live action monstrosity that was. I haven't seen it, but I have no desire to see it. The cartoons are where it's at, my dear friends. And so we watched one of my favorites, which was Princess Charm School. And when I tell y'all, rewatching that, number one, I remembered way too much of the lines and the lyrics to the songs and everything. Why does that just stick in your brain? I guess I watched it 1,000 times as a child, when I probably did. But it is so funny to watch it now and go, wait a second. So we have Hidden Identity, Secret Princess, and Boarding School. Those are 3 of my favorite tropes to read about. This book that movie made an impact on my reading taste now, and I just think that was so funny. He liked it. I was like, it's not bad. I was like, I'll take it. He didn't remember it at all. Somehow he did not remember it. Which is really weird because I know I watched it 1,000 times. So now I'm on the mission that we need to start rewatching the Barbie movies and make my dad watch them as well. So we'll probably do the 12 Dancing Princesses next because that is my mom's favorite. So that's where that connection was. Welcome to my brain where the connections and the bunny trails, it's amazing the whole place hasn't caved in on us. So that's where that's totally where my brain went, was the 12 Dancing Princesses. This was interesting. This was a buddy read. I enjoyed it. I was very suspicious because the main guy was horrible in the first book. But the author did really good with that redemption arc. So, okay, if I put it here, can y'all still see them? Just barely. Okay, we'll add a couple more there and then we'll switch to the shelf below maybe. I want y'all to be able to see it all. Another book I bought and had already read that I thought was really cute was Dawn Chandler by Eliza Noel. This is a Christian middle grade book. It was really nice because not only is there a large family represented well with good parents and just sibling fun, there's also homeschooling representation, which I was just really excited about seeing that. That's one thing I would love to see more in Christian middle grade books, would be seeing homeschoolers. in there and like not them be like the weird stereotypical homeschoolers. It would be really great to see more. So I was really excited to read this one. I've got to get my hands on book 2 because it's continuing the story and I'm really curious to see what happens. But it was really sweet. I really liked it. Okay, we have a few books I haven't read yet. So A Hero for Miss Hatherley. Cursive is throwing me today. Hatherley by Carolyn Miller. This is the book 3 was on that stack. Book 2 I have hauled maybe in prior videos. It's a Regency one. This one though has to do with fossil hunting. And I thought that was really like such a random thing but interesting for the Regency time period. And I'm really curious how this author will do that. So yeah, at some point I'm going to read them. But again, they feel so springy to me. So I don't want to wait till spring. I don't want to wait, but we'll see. Whenever I'm in the mood, I guess. And then I also picked up A Haven on Orchard Lane by Lawana Blackwell. I haven't read anything by this author. Oh no, I don't actually. I thought I got it, her and Lorraine Snealing mixed up, sorry. I read a book by her a long time ago and I remember it was very slow. I liked it, but it was very slow. So I don't know really what to expect with this one, but the cover, it's just pretty. I really love that British cottage aesthetic. I'm talking too fast so my tongue's messing up. I'm so sorry. I really like that aesthetic though. And so the cover intrigued me and it has to do with a cottage and the girl has to leave and it sounds like it's historical though. So I'm curious. Yes, 1880, so thought I'd give it a try. Let me know if you've read this book or any books by this author. It has been a long time since I read that one. A long time. That one's not super high priority. That probably will end up going on my spring TBR for next year in all reality, but at some point I'll read it, hopefully. I took a break for like 3 minutes and y'all fell. How rude. Okay, hang on here. Is everybody okay? There. Alright, now we're fixed. Back to our regular scheduled program of hauling more books. I'm going to try to do this faster. I'm sorry. I feel like this video is already so long. Season of My Enemy by Naomi Mush. I'm not sure how to pronounce the author's last name. I haven't read this one yet. This is part of the Heroines of World War II series. This is a not connecting series. It's just that theme of the series. It's another barbed wire series. And I really enjoyed 2 of the books I read, so I thought I would start gathering a few more in this series. And this one sounded interesting. It's set in Wisconsin. My dad is originally from Wisconsin, so I thought it might be interesting to read. I probably shouldn't add any more to that stack, so let's start our new stack. Another book I hauled because I enjoyed it so much would be The Princess Companion by Melanie Sellier. I added my tabs. This is a Princess and the Pea retelling that I was flabbergasted by how much I enjoyed it. I gave it a 4.5, rounded to a 5 on Goodreads, which is a big deal because I never round to a 5 ever. But this book was just so close to a 5-star, I just had to give it that on Goodreads. Like, talking to y'all, I'm going to say it's a 4.5, but Goodreads, I'm fine with it saying it was a 5 because I enjoyed this so much. This is a clean fairy tale retelling series, and we're going to be talking about the rest of the series here in a moment. Okay, and then we have a bunch of books from used online sellers like Pango, but also that Facebook group I was talking about. This is going to be a bunch of those right now. So Windsong Manor by Julie Wright. This is a proper romance series but published, part of the Proper Romances series by Shadow Mountain Publishing, which is a clean publisher. Haven't read this one yet. Another one I picked up was Isabel and Alexander by Rebecca Anderson. Haven't read this one yet. Another one would be The Art of Love and Lies by Rebecca Anderson. I don't think I said her name right. I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? You see the covers. I have enjoyed about a handful of the books I've read so far from that line. It's not really a series, it's more of a line, and I really enjoyed them. I was pleasantly surprised by how much I liked them, so I've kind of decided to start seeing if I can find ones that I'm interested in, because my library has them as Kindle books, which is great for me, but they're not really available on Kindle Unlimited, so I thought I would start seeing because I have really high hopes for a lot of these with my current track record. Continuing on with that clean Regency historical setting, I have Blackmore by Julie Anna Donaldson. I'm so struggling to. I'm so tired all of a sudden. I'm so sorry. I enjoyed this No, I haven't read this one. Never mind. Scratch that. What am I saying? I haven't read this one yet, Lindsey. I haven't read this one yet. This is the author that wrote another book in the series, and I don't recall what my thoughts were on that series, but I read it a long time ago. So that's probably why. Let me gather up some more of these, and then we'll add them to the stack. Another trilogy I thought I would grab because I saw them at very reasonable prices would be the Daughters of Courage series. So book 1 is The Audacious Miss Eliza, which I have read and I liked it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it yet. I'm going to see how the rest of the series goes. And then The Determined Miss Rachel, and then The Fearless Miss Diana. And then I think there is a 4th book as well. I don't own that one. I withheld myself at some point, but I saw them reasonably priced and marketed as Clean Regency books, and I like Clean Regency books. Yeah, so there you go. I thought I would try them. So far, I've only read the 1st book, and I'm undecided about it right now. So I'm going to put those there, and then I'm undecided about this one, so I'm just going to stick that there on the shelf. Continuing on, I have a few more for that. We have actually more than a few more. So, Dual Devotions by Sara L. McConaughey, maybe? From my understanding, this is like a forbidden love trope, and her brother is incredibly disapproving of the guy, but they all used to be best friends or something. So, I've never read this author. I was curious about it. An Inconvenient Romance by Chalon Linton. I haven't read anything by this author, but I was curious about it. And then Secrets of the Sonnets. My mom always corrects me on how I say this word, and I can't think how she corrects me to say it. Sonnet? You know, like Shakespeare, that kind of thing, by Samantha Hastings. This one was because the seller had a bunch of other books, and I was like, okay, sure, just add it in. I'll see if I like it, kind of thing. I don't know about this one, but because I'm not really a Shakespeare girly, if that wasn't obvious, so we'll see about that. So then I got 5 books by Wendy May Andrews. I haven't read any of these. I don't really know anything about this author except they're supposed to be Clean Regency. So let me know if you've read or heard about these. So Distracting the Heir, Confounding the Fortune Hunter, Invading the Gentleman, Assisting Lord Richmond, and Convincing Mr. Northcott. They're all very thin, and I think they're all on Kindle Unlimited, which is very good for me because I prefer to read books on Kindle Unlimited. Even if I own them physically, I prefer to read them just on Kindle in general. So at some point I will get to these. The Butterfly Collection by T. Cooper. Haven't read any of her books, but I've heard they're on the clean side, so hopefully that is true. Same with All the Pretty Places by Joy Calloway. This cover is stunning. I want this to be my backyard right here. Yes, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Again, I haven't read either of these authors, but I have heard that they're on the clean side, but will they be as squeaky as I prefer? We'll just have to find out. 2 more in the Shadow Mountain publishing of The Proper Romances would be Promise by Leah Garrett, maybe is how you pronounce the author's last name. Haven't read this one. And then A Heart Worth Stealing by Joanna Baker. I have such high hopes for this book. I've heard so many friends just rave and talk about it for a Clean Regency book, that it's really cute, and just this author in general, I hear so much about her books. I read a novella, which I'll talk about here in a bit, that I really enjoyed, so I have super duper high hopes for this one, and I'm hoping to get to it soon, but probably not within the next month, so I won't add it to that pile. A few more on the Regency side, and then we're moving on to another genre. I found a few sellers that just had a bunch of Clean Regency books, and they were very reasonably priced. So I was just like, oh, add to cart, and that's hence why there's been so many in a row. But A Matchmaking Mismatch by Martha Keyes. This one just sounds cute. Matchmaking, it doesn't go well. I thought I would give it a try. And then I have 3 other ones, and so one of them would be The Reluctant Baronet by Elizabeth Watkins. Don't really know too much about it. I don't know how to pronounce this name. Tiara? It looks like it rhymes with tiara. His choice. And this is by Chalon Linton, which I have another book by her I haven't read yet. And then Edward and Amelia by Karen Thornell. I've heard good things about. Haven't read it though. So I am now set on Clean Regency books. Would you not say? I would say. Alright, we're going to have to start a new stack. I'm sorry I keep looking at the viewfinder and not y'all, sorry. I'm concerned they're gonna fall, but I think we'll be okay. So some books I bought. Assassin of Fire and Sacrifice by Mary Meckham. This is a clean romantasy series. Well, I think they're all, the series I think is all romantasy, but they're standalones. They're just connecting because they're in the same series. I don't think they connect any other way, but this was a buddy read that I really enjoyed. I tabbed my copy up. It was really good. So good, in fact, we're going to skip ahead. I bought the hardback. I was stunned by how much I enjoyed this one because she is an assassin that is sent to kill the prince of another country. And the plot twist, the banter, I was just flabbergasted. So, special hardback edition. Very pretty. Very pretty. So yes, I had to buy both. To be fair, I bought this one and then I found out the hardback had a special artwork. And I was like, ooh, special artwork. How can I say no to that? I probably could have said no to that. But should I say no to that? I couldn't. I didn't want to, at least. So, hence why I bought this one. But it was a very fun, very entertaining. I wasn't expecting to enjoy this book as much as I did. I talked about it in, I think it was my last recent reads. And it was entertaining, to say the least. I also picked up The Kingdom's True Queen by Michaela Bush. This is book 4 in the Legends of Lenaria series. This one I would say is more for the older girls because it does have, our main girl in this book is living in a very horrible country and terrible things have happened and it's alluded to. You don't really find out, really, but things are alluded to. So there was a little bit on that, but I did buy a copy so I can have the rest of the series together. Not that they're together on my shelves, but you know what I mean. So I also picked up The Steadfast Heart by Arlem Hawks. For some reason, this one wasn't on Alibris, and I wanted to get the rest of them. So I went ahead and just got this one on Amazon. This is a Regency retelling of The Steadfast Tin Soldier. One day I will get that word well. And I really enjoyed it. I had never heard about that series before. That fairy tale before. So I was just really touched by how cute this was. It was very sweet. I will definitely be keeping both of these. My parents were very sweet and they always want to get me like a devotional or some faith-related book on my baptism anniversary, and so this year they bought me Our Faithful God Devotional by Katie Davis Majors because my mom knew that I had read and reviewed it and really liked it, but I didn't have a physical copy, so they bought me a physical copy, and I was like, oh, yay! I'm excited to read this one properly because when I do devotionals reviewed on BFCG, I read them kind of all in one go. I don't really use them as a devotional. So I'm looking forward to now reading it for myself, if you will. And I have really high hopes for it because I really like this author. Well, I say I have really high hopes for it. I've already read it, so I know I'll have high hopes. But I'm looking forward to reading it as one normally does with a devotional. Then my dad, my sweet father, he said one night, oh, I've got to go to Mardell's and pick up this. And I went, oh, you're going to Mardell's, which if you don't know Mardell's is a Christian bookstore and supply store. It's owned by the same family that does Hobby Lobby. They aren't in every state, but they're here in Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas. I don't know anywhere else, but I know they're in those states. So, like, you know, that general vicinity. And, of course, I was like, oh, you're going to Mardell's because they have bargain books, my dear friends. And that's where I used to buy a ton of books. We used to live really close to one. We no longer live close to one, which is sad. It's sad, to be honest. That was a downfall of this house that we moved to 4 years ago this week because we're like, oh, we're not going to be close to Mardell's. Well, pity. But my dad went and he was like, do you want me to video chat you? Because we have different phones. We can't do FaceTime. But basically, did you want me to FaceTime you? I go, I would love if you would want to do that, if you have time. So, my sweet father. And I love how my parents, I have tried so many times to show them how to flip the camera on their phone so, like, you know, you can do like this and you can see what they see. No, they can't get that. So, he's doing the phone to the bookcase like this and showing me. And, you know, it's like terrible quality. But the thought was there and I was able to recognize a lot of books, so it was okay. But one series I saw, and I was like, hey, how much is that? Oh, $3 each? Okay, sure. Yeah, let's grab those because I hadn't seen them. And that is part of the Liberty Letters series by Nancy Lee Sound. These are apparently new cover editions for them. It's Escape on the Underground Railroad and Secrets of the Civil War Spies. They were published by Zonderkids. And I what year was that? 2003 originally, and then it looks like this is a 2008 edition. I don't feel like I had ever seen these around, and I thought I knew all the Christian middle grade books out there, especially by the traditional publishers. So I was like, hey, pick those up for me, please. And so he did, and I'm very curious about them. I really like seeing historical middle grade books, and I feel like this is going to be similar along the lines of Sisters in Time, American Girl, The Royal Diaries, maybe concept. That's what I'm thinking, but it looks like it's all told in letters though, so I'm very curious about them. I'm going to start reviewing these pretty soon, and it looks like there's 4 books in the series, so this is like book 1 and 3, so I'll have to see if I can get my hands on the other 2, but I was like, oh, interesting. Let me know if y'all have heard about these. We're going to have to start a new pile now. You remember how I talked about The Princess Companion by Melanie Sellier? Well, I just binged that series. I was just like, wow, enthralled. So here's most of the books in the series. I had one on my birthday list as an idea for my parents, and so I don't have that one here, but they did get that one for me, so we'll talk about those there at the end. And so we have The Coronation. These are all by Melanie Sellier. The Coronation Ball, Happily Ever After, The Princess Pact, A Midwinter Wedding, The Princess Game, and then The Princess Search. So that is almost all the books in the series, but I was really excited about getting all these. I bought all these from Alibris. They were all cheaper than Amazon. Fun fact there. So I am so excited to put those onto my shelf. My last recent reads, I talked about that whole series. And since then, I have read 4.5 of the next series. So A Dance of Silver and Shadow, which is a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses. A Tale of Beauty and Beast. A Crown of Snow and Ice, and then A Dream of Ebony and White. I have finished those. I will rank them in my next recent reads. There is 2 other books in the series, and that is A Captive of Wing and Feather. I am currently reading this one right now. I'm about halfway through. I'm not loving it as much as the rest of the books in the series. And then I'll pick up A Princess of Wind and Wave. Yes, Wind and Wave. And that will complete the second spin-off series. I do feel like this is going to be a series that you're kind of going to have to read in publication date order, or at least in the suggested order. You could just jump in with this first book and avoid the other series. I don't know why'd you do that though, because that series is better in my opinion. So I'm just gonna okay, I'm so sorry y'all, my camera card was full, so I'm not sure where it cut me off. But I'm going to go ahead and put the other Melanie Sellier books here, even though I haven't finished the series yet, because I will be keeping them. I really have been enjoying them. They have been so much fun. So, on that note, I bought 2 books in the next spin-off series. So, The Secret Princess and The Mystery Princess. And this is the one I'm really looking forward to, because we saw this girl in the 4th book in the second series, and I really, really liked that one. I'm going to discuss it in an upcoming recent reads. But I'm going to just go ahead and put these here. Alright, we are in the final stretch, my dear friends. We are almost done. Last little stack of books. On Pango, I found a seller that had 4 books that interest me. So I was like, alright, I'm just going to go ahead and get them all. First book is Becoming Free Indeed by Ginger Duggar Volvo. Do I need to explain about this book? So, the Duggar family, very popular family, very well-known family. This is one of their older daughter's books. And I've been very interested in this book since it released, and I'm very curious about what she's going to say. But I haven't read it yet, but this person had it for really cheap on Pango. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll buy it. Are you sensing a theme here? My problem is that if I know I'm going to be doing a book haul soon, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to buy this book at any point. I might as well buy it now, and then I can have it in the haul. Is that a good mental mindset to have, Lindsay? No. No, it is not, but it is my mindset. So I also picked up A Song of Thieves by Jacqueline Guernsey. I'm not sure how to pronounce the author's last name. From my understanding, this is a clean fantasy story. I don't really know too much about it. I have heard there is a couple uses of minor language and a couple mild innuendos, so we'll see. We'll see. The cover is really cool. The spine is the coolest part, though, to me, because it looks like a book. Well, obviously it's a book, but it looks like, you know, an old-fashioned book, and I love that. I think that's so cool. So I really hope I like this one, but I am a little leery because of those couple little content things I've heard. We'll see. Also, I picked up one that is super exciting that I will be reading soon. Is A Game of Hearts by Joanna Barker. This author, again, I've heard so much hype for her books, and I am so intrigued about this one because it has to do with archery, and I really like archery. That's also my favorite thing to watch with the Olympics. So, I think I'm going to read this one in July when the Olympics start. I'm so excited about the Olympics. Like, that is such a, like, I'm not a sporty girl. Why do I like the Olympics? I have no idea. But archery is one of the ones I always want to watch. That's my favorite one to watch for the Summer Olympics, so I'm very excited about that. So I'm thinking I'll read that Regency book in July, is my thought process on there. I also picked up A Gentlewoman's Scholar by Sara M. Eden, Michelle Page Holmes, and Nancy Campbell Allen. I have read Nancy Campbell Allen before. She has a Victorian series that I just finished and really ended up enjoying it. So I was curious about this little novella collection. The next book was A Gift from the Publisher, and that was Her Part to Play by Jenny Erlingson. I haven't read anything about this author. I believe this is her debut book, and I'm curious about it. I'm always a little leery about debut authors and brand new authors, but I'm going to see what I think about this one. It sounds like it could be really cute. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You'll hear my thoughts about it. And then some other really fun books. Guardian by Kathy McCrum. This is book 3 in a series. I haven't even read book 1. My dear friends, I try really hard not to be that person that buys books before you've even, like, buy the whole series before you've read them. I've learned my lesson. I really have. But this was really cheap on Alibris, and I was like, I've heard it ends on cliffhangers, and I own book 1 and 2, so might as well. I've heard really good things about this. This is I think it's clean. There might be some Christian allegory content in it. I'm not quite sure. But it's published by Enclave Publishing, and it's a sci-fi, and I've heard really good things about it, so I hope I like it. I really hope I like it because I own all 3 in hardback. Now, mind you, that second book I got as a really crazy good deal on Amazon. Once they had it on sale for like $6-7 hardback. How could I say no to that? I could have said no to that, but I didn't, because as we're learning, I'm not good at saying no to good deals on books. So, continuing on, A Fated Quest by Selena R. Gonzalez. This is book 3 in the series with A Thieving Curse and A Thieving Curse, The Lonely Dance, A Fated Quest. That's how the series goes. So, I haven't read this one yet, but I am hoping to read this one very soon because the 4th book in the series is releasing in July. So I think I want to get to them maybe kind of close. I don't know if I'll get to them right around the release day of the 4th book, but I do plan to read this one at some point before the end of the year for sure. So I'm just going to stick it there for now. This next Daisy says hello. This next book has cool artwork on the back, but that is This Life of Mine by Victoria Lynn. I am really excited about reading this one. I feel like it's going to like rip my heart out. I'm fully expecting it to rip my heart out. But book 1 I really enjoyed in this series. Book 3 is going to be releasing this year. Is that right? I think it's releasing later this year, so I need to read book 2 soon so I can be prepared for book 3. One book I haven't read yet, but I hope to get to soon is Because of You by Hannah Curry. This is a contemporary YA Christian book with no romance, apparently. I like contemporary YA. I like it when there's some romance in it, but I'm very intrigued that there's no romance in it and that it's about a girl who goes on a mission trip to Thailand. So I was like, hey, that sounds really interesting and kind of right up my alley, so I'm going to hopefully read it soon. Protecting Her Heart by Nancy Campbell Allen. I just finished this a couple days ago. Daisy says hello, please excuse her. And this is a clean Victorian mystery, if you will, and I ended up really enjoying this one as well. Book 2 in the series was my favorite, but this was my second favorite out of the trilogy. It was just a really fun series. I tabbed my copy because I really enjoyed a lot of different parts of it. It was very sweet. I'm running out of room! Okay, one book my parents got me for my birthday was The Princess Fugitive. This is book 2 in that original Melanie Sallier series, so let's squish it in. There we go. So some other books I was really excited to receive were the other books in the Forever After series, which is a retelling of different fairy tales, but in a Regency setting. I've been talking about them, and I've had really good luck with 4 out of 6 of them so far. I haven't read the other 2. And the Steadfast Heart that I prior talked about in this video, that was one of the books in the series, and I enjoyed that. So other ones I have read would be Beauty and the Baron by Joanna Baker. This was the novella I read by her, and I really ended up enjoying this one. This was a Beauty and the Beast retelling. A Beautiful Love by Megan Walker was a retelling of The Ugly Duckling, and I enjoyed it. And then Maiden in the Tower by Heidi Kimball. This was a retelling of Rapunzel, obviously, and I really, really enjoyed it. I would say this is probably my favorite in the series so far. So I will be keeping these because I really enjoyed them. So we're going to just stick them up here. Oh, I'm so excited. I get to organize all these books. I'm so excited. Then the other 2 I haven't read yet is In Pursuit of a Gentleman by Arlen Hawks. I've read 2 books by her, and I enjoyed both of them quite a bit, so I'm looking forward to this one. And then The Captain and Miss Winter by Sally Brinton. And I haven't read any of her books yet, so I will be getting to these, but they both look wintry, so I'm kind of debating, should I save them for winter? Should I read them in the fall? I'll just read them when I'm in the mood for them, I guess. And then I picked up Cinderluna by Marie Soleil. This is a contemporary, clean retelling of Cinderella, but it has hidden identities and video games and all that kind of thing. It was just really cute. I was pleasantly surprised by how cute it was, and I'm really curious about the rest of the series as they release, because we see some of those characters in here, and I was just like, oh, how's that going to go? That's going to be interesting. So yes, I enjoyed this book. I have a review on Goodreads for it. It's going to be one of the very few clean contemporary rom-coms I have on my shelves, because I'm very picky about that genre. Typically there's a lot of like content or that kind of thing, just like noticing, like they are very aware of the other's physical appearance kind of thing, and I don't like that. I don't really like the drinking elements, but this one was pretty clean for my taste, so I did like a lot of elements of it. Another book I've already read was Road Trip Rescue by Becca Warville. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce the author's last name. This was a Christian middle grade book. It was lighter in the Christian faith content. I feel like it could really stand out with the secular market, but it was very sweet. It's about a girl who goes on a road trip to try to find her missing dog. Very bittersweet. Very bittersweet. No dogs die, but it's not as happy as I would have preferred it, that ending, but it was still a good ending. Book 2 is releasing later this year, and I'm looking forward to reading that one. And it had its really cute moments. If you like that middle grade adventure kind of road trip story, I would suggest checking it out, but I do have a full content review of it. And then last night I pre-ordered 2 more books. One of them will be releasing here in July. Well, here in July, coming up here in July, and that is Meeting Her Match by Jen Turano. I am so excited about this book, one of my anticipated releases for the year. So duper, super duper excited for it. And then I also pre-ordered, I don't have a cover of it yet, Sabotage at Cedar Creek by Janice Thompson. This is going to be book 2 in the Tilly series, so Tracking Tilly is book 1. This is going to be book 2, and it's releasing in February. So yes, am I biting the bullet early, pre-ordering this book? Completely, but I'm excited for it and I want it to show, so I went ahead and pre-ordered it. And then our last 2 books of this book haul. I bought way too many books. Okay, but these 2 were a very sweet gift from a very sweet friend. I don't know if she wants to be mentioned though. Okay, I won't say her name, but she knows who she is, and I am incredibly, incredibly excited and grateful that she sent me these 2 books for my birthday. I am so excited to read them. And so the first one was kind of like a bonus one she sent, and that was Finding God in Anime, which is a devotional for anime fans. And I can't say I'm necessarily a big anime fan, but I flipped through it and I was like, oh, I actually know a lot more of these than I thought I did. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. But then she also gave me The Blades of Akhtar book 1, which is Dare by Trisha Mingrink. I've heard so many friends talk about the series and this author, and I still can't pronounce it. Memory of a Goldfish some days. Mingrink. Maybe. And this is a Christian fantasy series about an assassin who doesn't want to be an assassin or something. Again, I've heard so much about it, and I've always been like, I'll read it at some point. I will get to it. Well, it is a now get to it at some point. It is now some point. So I will be reading this one. Thank you again so much to my sweet friend who gave me these. I'm excited to read these. I'm thinking I might save this one, though, closer to me. don't know, doesn't this feel like November? There's snow on the cover. Y'all who have read this series, let me know when is the best time to read them. Ooh, there's a map. There's a lot of marks on the map. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to refer to that as I read, but I have heard really good things about this series. I have really high hopes, so I will read it at some point, hopefully soon. Definitely within the year. Definitely within the year. So there we are. Ta-da! That's a lot of books. We could count, but I don't want to count. It's around 100 books. Let's just leave it about that. It's about 100 books. And then there's the 6 pre-orders and the 5 manhwa, which are Korean comics, and manga, which is Japanese comics. There's about 5 of those, so that's 11. So there's probably, what, 90 books here? Okay, Lindsay, you need to read the books you own. You need to quit buying books. But that is this video. I hope you enjoyed it, my dear friends. Was this long-winded? I'm so sorry. I feel like I've been, like, talking and rambling, and words aren't coming out right, but I hope you enjoyed this video. Nonetheless, we're going to get these organized and put where they're supposed to go in another video that will come out in a couple weeks, but for now, there we go. Let's zoom out a little bit. Oop, wrong way. Ta-da! Move my little markers. Ta-da! So we've got 3 stacks of books here that I haven't read, but we'll get to at some point in life. Some of them I'll get to sooner than later, obviously. I've got this little stack of raw edge books that I hope to get within the next month or so. And then this stack and this stack are ones that need to be added to my bookshelves. So we will get to that. But I would love to know if you have read any of these. Do you want to read any of these? Did you see any covers that just like enticed you to go, ooh, take a double look at that kind of thing? Let me know. I would love to know. If you've read any of these, do you want to read of them? Which ones got your eye? Let me all know in the comments. Feel free to make multiple comments. That's totally okay. And then I think that's it for this video. I've rambled enough. I've talked y'all's ear off enough. Let me know though if there's any in this stack that you're like, ooh, Lindsay, no, I don't think you're going to like that. Or, Lindsay, I think you're really going to like that. Get to it soon. Let me know. I would love to know that as well. And that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, my dear friends. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see y'all next time with my 200th video here on BookTube. Have an absolutely lovely rest of your day, my dear friends. I am Lindsay from the blog Books for Christian Girls at blogspot.com, where there's a new review every Monday and Friday. I try to post a new video on this channel every Friday, and then I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, Goodreads, all the many places to make our TBRs just grow and explode. So I'll see y'all here, there, and everywhere. Bye!